And we got a 1, a 2, and a 3. Hell! December 2nd, 2014. That's right, we're getting ready to roll into 2015. Why do I talk like I'm a wrestler? I don't know, I'm crazy. I probably fell on my head too many times skateboarding back in the day. Metal Mike coming at you, junking and picking, hunting, selling on eBay, selling on Craigslist. We do it all. Now, a word up, I'm going to drop a promotional for myself right now, a plug. Remember, if you live in Minnesota and you need an old barn, an old house, an estate clean out, there's none better than me. I can be there for you. We can get the job done discreetly, efficiently, fast, with the work done right. Done right the first time. It doesn't take 2 times to get a job done if you do it right properly the first time. Now off of that, these are stories from the road. This is shooting from the hip, as always. Unscripted. Hey now! So, here's the deal, guys. That anyone that's watching my videos, now if you've watched my videos for some time being, you've noticed that from time to time I've mentioned that I've been close in the past to getting my own reality TV show. The closest, I think, was in 2010. I had a deal going that just fell through. They came out, they shot a sizzle from Los Angeles. What is a sizzle? Well, it's like a 10, 15, 20-minute short that they do, short film video on you, and then they present that to the networks, and then the networks, obviously, if someone opts to sign you for a show, you get that. So they put it before A&E, they put it before Discovery, they put it before the History. Well, I was never able to see that sizzle. It never happened. It fell out. I made some mistakes along the way. I lost my patience with the company. I'm sure they lost theirs with mine. But here we go again. On Thursday, I'm about to do a Skype interview over the phone. And I'm going to talk with some men that are interested in using me for my own show. Now, they have a premise, which I can't go into, or I could, but I'm not going to, just out of respect for them. That's just how I work. And they also asked me that they'd be willing to listen to anything that I had for an idea to base the show around me. Now, I feel at this point, every picker show has been done. Every type of flea market show has been done. But what I think is missing, this is just my point of view, that maybe you guys agree with, is let's say we're watching American Pickers, right? They get into some fantastic collections that are jaw-dropping and really just rip your guts out, because you know that you cannot, how do these guys amass these collections, hard work and big money, obviously. And I'm freezing too, even though we got a warmer day today, it's probably up in the teens. It's bitter, man. That's what's crazy about living in Minnesota. Sometimes it can be 20 below zero and you feel warm. Another day it's 30 degrees and you're freezing. After a while you lose all sense of what the hell the weather really is. But anyway, getting back as I try to unshiver here in the cellar bunker with my pitiful little heater I bought and my sun lamp. Back to the fact. What are my ideas for a show? I'm thinking, hey, I like to get into places that have, obviously, this has been done on some level, but getting into a place that's never been picked before. And when I say that, not a collector, not a collector's collection, but more or less a hoarder. Let's face it, collectors can be hoarders. So, and you have hoarders who hoard everything, and then they get the rare pieces here and there. Who doesn't want to just go climbing around in an old barn? Now, those videos on American Pickers and here and there, they do kind of delve into it. Also, I like the idea of maybe mixing in something like, if you've ever seen it, I believe there's a thing below a city, you know, like under Germany, there's all these tunnels. Under New York City, all these old tunnels. There's tunnels under here, there, everywhere. Getting into an old building, no matter what that building might be. Let's say it isn't filled with treasures to pick, but you can always find a treasure, and that's just by doing detective work. So if you get into an old abandoned building, you go into it, you see maybe where the guys changed in their lockers, and you discover the history of it, and you are going to uncover something somewhere that has been forgotten. I've always prided myself when I've gotten into estate sales, or a garage sale, estate sale, when they're emptying out an old house, even when it's done by a professional estate cleaner company. You always look in the places that are out of the ordinary. I always look up in the rafters of a basement. Behind this, behind there. You want to look. And that's what you're looking. You're looking for something maybe even in the estate sale that they've missed. Now, how does this all tie together? Well, I kind of like the idea of just getting out there and exploring And picking kind of falls into place with that. If you're an explorer, you're going to dig something up, whether it be an old cone-top beer can, an old piece of a car. Anything can be really cool to the collector picker. Hell, even digging in dirt. Who wouldn't like to do that? If you haven't read the story, someone had done the research of about Atari. Back in the 1980s, they had a bunch of games that were flops and whatever. The company went down. I can't remember what the premise was or what happened exactly, but they ended up burying all these video games. Well, someone was smart enough and checked out on those rumors and went and dug them up, and they uncovered all these great treasures which sold on eBay, and they made a bootload of money. Example, as a young teenager, preteen even, in St. Paul growing up, we lived in a little shop. Look it up on my YouTube videos, 873 Rice Street, which was next to Ron's Bar, another video on there, which had been a drugstore in the early 1900s. Now, in the old days, they used to always, of course, bury their trash. So if they had old bottles, they buried them. Anything could end up in this garbage pit. And so when I used to dig in my backyard as a young boy, I used to come across old bottles. I wish I had kept this. I think most of them were broken, but you would find pieces of glass that were just stunning. So I'm thinking that's an idea. If you also look back into some of my videos, I explored an old movie theater that was dilapidated and falling in on itself. And just getting in there and picking a place like that, and maybe not necessarily picking to score treasures, but hell, just uncovering stuff, maybe you can't even sell it. But finding something that somebody left behind, finding some history, whatever. I've got till Thursday to come up with some ideas. Well, I'm not on a deadline, but I'm going to present a couple of ideas. And I'd like to shoot it here in Minnesota. Do you think you'd like to see me go all over the country and explore old buildings? Or should I stick to my stomping ground, areas I know? And maybe even just history of this building, that building. And then, of course, picking will fall into it. I'm going to find something if I'm in an old building. You better believe it. An old abandoned barn. I'd like to get the heads up where I'm doing hoarder estate cleanouts, because that's what I used to really do well at. Dumpster diving even is a show. But you've got to present something that you can go with. So I don't want to pigeonhole myself into just a picker show. I'd like to kind of broad how to sell stuff. We could have a show on this, that, all over the place, just like my rambling right now to you. Now, what is my goal today? Off the topic of the show, right? My goal today is to list some items on eBay. Yesterday, I listed 6 items. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but I've spoke on this before. I am a momentum type of guy. If I can get that first one done listed, then boom, 2, 3, and before you know it, I'm rolling. I got 10, 15. I used to do this process back in the day. I used to list on eBay back in early 2000s. 10 to 15, 20 items a day. I was a fury. I could just really do it. I kind of fell out of that, you know. Life takes you in different directions. And as I built my stash, and I didn't need to support myself so much by going out and picking, I kind of stopped selling my inventory. And now, as you can see, I've got tubs and tubs and tubs of it. Let's just take a wide scan, eh? And this is just a small amount of the collection. But anyway, so I've got to get back into that mode. Can't live long enough to sell all this frickin' stuff. Well, actually, you can, because even with all this inventory, if I put my foot to the pedal, this could all be gone fast. And that's kind of depressing, isn't it? Because all you built up. But I'm going to keep the real hardcore stuff for retirement, the stuff I love, the old fire truck I showed you. Now, off topic, we've already touched base on the reality show and how I'll speak to them guys on the Skype interview. I've spoke about motivating to sell on eBay and moving that inventory out. Remember, you got to make money. You got to keep that money coming in. You got to oil that wheel so that you can get out there and pick some more. And at some point, you don't even need to be out picking because you've got enough inventory. But it's hard, isn't it? Because the best part of this whole thing is not the selling. Getting the money is rad. But I've always been... I will find a great piece, let's put it this way. And the excitement is through the roof. You love it when you first discover and save a piece of history or an old antique item that you found or you scored at a garage sale. And then, of course, you go, oh, I'm going to get big money for this. And then you do. But as soon as it's almost as that money's put into my hand, boom, I'm all the way down. It's a high. You got to go out again. You got to find another one. So it's almost like once you get the money, which is the goal, right? Well, for my goal is money and to find the treasure. So I'm kind of torn. But it's just that pressure to get out there and find another one, and it's hard with American pickers because you see all this stuff out there, man. And these guys are high rollers. Hell, they got backing from KFC. They got Ford backing them now. These guys are banking. They're set for life. If they were to fall on their faces, I would be baffled how they could blow it with this type of building, but of their empire. But I think those guys are straight guys, and they know what they're doing. And when I say straight, I don't mean the sexual part. I mean just straight hard work, and they know what they're doing. They're motivated. They're going to get out there, and they're making the proper steps. These guys seem like good, hearty guys. Don't know them. It's just a judgment call, which can always be wrong, but that's my feeling on it anyway. I have no hate for them, that's for sure. A lot of pickers that like to hate the other picker, hate the other dealer. Do I hate dealers? There's a percentage of them I don't like. The snotty, disrespectful ones you can bump into at estate sales that will nudge you out of the way. Or if you've ever been to an estate sale, let's say you're trying to get in here, they will literally like this, and they will not fucking let you in there, man. And that always pisses me off. I've always been the dude that just goes, oh, I get fucking right in there. I will lean right over a CS'er. You can figure out what that's an abbreviation for. Anyway, so let's say let's off topic. Remember, because I vomit, I spew this information. I can't stop. I'm a talker. I wanted to touch on a subject. If you're a beginner, let's say you're thinking, shit, how do I begin this process of becoming a picker or a junker? First, you need a truck. I mean, if you have a car and it's all you have, then that's what you have. But when you can, you want to get a pickup truck. And then if you can graduate from that, maybe get a topper on it. It all depends where you're going with it. If you're a junker, you probably don't need a top on it. You deal with what the cards you're dealt. But you want to get out there and you want to drive 6 days a week. You want to have a flyer. You want to have a business card. You want to dress somewhat respectfully. And when I say that, hey, this is not science, but it's just, you know, matching black work pants, a nice black shirt. If you have tattoos, cover them up. Some guys disagree. That's cool. We all fucking do what we want. Do I always dress like that when I'm out picking? No, I've been out there with no shirt on, tattoos blazing, everything. But the majority of the time, back in the day, you want to be as non-threatening as possible because people make judgments. And you want to have your name on the side of the vehicle. Now, where does that draw from? Years ago, when I was out driving, I was driving my red Ford F-150 extended cab that was rusted and crippled like this in the middle where the cab met the bed. And, oh good Lord, I remember I had some massive piece of wood, piece of shit cabinet in the back full of snow, and I got pulled over by the cops. Now, I rolled the window down. He goes, what are you doing? I said, hey, I'm the local junk man. This is how I support my kids. You know, I'm just out picking. And he looked at me and he said, you know, you don't even have your name on this truck. How the hell, you know, can I tell the difference? And that registered with me, man. And from that point forward, I went out, I got paint, and I painted my name, Junk and Antiques, telephone numbers, and I put my last name right there. And then when I could, I moved up to magnets. You know, the magnet signs, which are pretty easily affordable, and you can take them off of vehicles, switch them to another vehicle if you get a different vehicle or if you got a couple vehicles. Is that going to stop you from being judged? No. I've had guys pull me over, and you know, usually they'll want, hey, can I see what you're doing? I got some old junk here, but I also had the jerk-offs, which is common because people are worried, but everyone wants the police. I've very few, thank heaven, back in the day, but oh, they would get under your skin. They'd say, oh, we've had a rash of thefts in the neighborhood. Cool. I'm in the neighborhood. I'm here every day. My name is right here. Here's my ID. That ain't me, all right? Can I take a picture of you? Sure. I took the hard hat off. Big smile. Let them take the pictures. You don't want to get in an argument with these jerk-offs, these wannabe police officers, scumbags, and that is one reason why I do not drive the alleys no more. I don't need that BS. If you're going to drive, you want to go to a part of town where it's not so, I call them yuppies. Let's face it. The people that tend to be like this, these pricks, are yuppies. So I go to where I grew up over in St. Paul. It's more working class, hardworking people. They don't bat an eye at that because there's tons of junkers driving the alleys. Now, where I live here in Columbia Heights, if I see a dumpster, I go knock on the door and get in it that way. If it's on the curb next to the trash can, sure. Do I drive down the alleys much anymore? Oh, hell no. I don't want the crap. So just be careful what you're doing, you know. Be cautious. Be respectful to your neighborhood. If you are driving the alleys, you better frickin' be driving slow, too, because little kids run out, and you don't want someone looking out and seeing you flying down there because you're going to frickin' put a thorn in someone's ass, and it's going to be yours in the long run. Respect, respect, respect. Respect for the community. Respect for the people. And respect for hard work, man. And respect for honesty. Always speak the truth. Don't make up stories. Tell them exactly what you're doing. Hey, man, I'm just looking for... If they say get the hell out of here, then you don't go there anymore. You don't want that bull crap. You don't need to get into a dispute with someone. Now, back to picking, right? So, you're starting out. You got to have that business card. Flyers, door to door, man. I used to do it, and I will probably do it again. Some of the easiest work to do for your business is simply get 1,000 flyers made up and get out there and walk and put them. Remember, you can't put them in the mailbox, so you can just stick them in the door and just door-to-door flyer. Hand them out here, there. Grocery stores are great. You can put your business card in there. You want to tap into anything possible, and in the beginning maybe you don't have a lot of money to go out and actually buy for stuff, so you just simply junk hauled away. You're going to get calls. I have a freezer full of water and rotted food. I want it out of here. If that's what you need to make money, then do it. Go take that job. Make that money. Take that money, invest it in gas, so you can go out and you can actually pick and find something. Put a little money aside. Go buy an antique. Whatever the case. Always be picking. Someone else touched on something in my videos, and I thought it was very important to share it in a comment. They said, hey man, I went to an antique dealer, and a lot of these antique dealers, not a lot, but there's still a pocket of them that are resistant to the internet and hate it. Who knows why? Because it's ridiculous. They've got so much inventory, they're drowning, and they're overpriced. This is a way to move that out. Go to them, because you're looking for the broken pieces. Remember, these are the pieces that these guys aren't going to be too excited about. They're all thinking old school. Oh man, I got to find the mid piece without a chip. Meanwhile, what we're doing is we're undershooting them, and we're taking... You can sell those broken pieces, maybe an antique car that's missing one wheel, or a piece is missing here. Those pieces can bring bigger money than a mint condition one, not of the same kind, but of a different kind. So you want to go to these old antique stores. You want to say, hey, do you have a room, where you keep inventory? Can I go dig in it? Do they have a back room? Do they have a basement that they usually don't let people in? If you go back to my videos, look for Golden Lion in St. Paul. I went there a few years ago, and I did a lot of that. They had a basement. I was able to talk to the owner, get down there, and I was able to just tear through boxes, respectfully, mind you. And I was able to pull a few loads out of there. And it was stuff that, like a Zippo lighter that he didn't, he had mint china and antique porcelain dolls and real high-end antique store. But you're looking for the piece that they're getting in that's broken, and they kind of shove it to the side. That's where you can make your money. The guy that told me he had bought a box of old tin cars, and basically one of those cars, he made a ton of money off of it. And I've done that a lot. Same at flea markets. Remember, broken, damaged stuff, man, can have huge value when you go to a garage sale or an estate sale. And the best estate sales are always the ones put on by the family. Workbenches, the drawers, an old man, old woman, they always have the junk drawer, the sewing machine drawers, you always want to check those. They used to put jewelry in those, war medals, everything ended up in the damn sewing drawer, in the junk drawer. And especially in a old man's workshop, old woman's workshop, they have the drawers full of bolts and junk and broken this and broken that. Digging through those slowly, you can find amazing things. An old coin, an old souvenir, an old pin back button. Those are the things you're looking for, man. An old toolbox, you will be surprised how many times you can look into an old toolbox or even a fishing tackle box and find a bayonet from World War I or World War II, because these guys would bring this stuff home and they would want to use these items, and they would just throw it in the fishing box. I've many times scored German bayonets and stuff out of old fishing boxes and toolboxes, and it can be rusty. The handle can be broken, the tip can be broken off, and you can still get huge money. Rarity. These guys that collect, this is an authentic piece. This is a piece of Survivor. It's made it. And even though it's beat to hell, people want it in their collections. I always shot for that type of stuff because, number one, I could afford it. Number two, it was cooler than the mint piece, because the mint piece always makes you raise an eyebrow. Though, let's face it, mint is still always good. So, Metal Mike, coming at ya. Look at that. Right? You gotta love that old metal sign. Here's one I picked up for a couple bucks. $250 reward offered for the conviction of persons robbing or attempting to rob these premises. These are great little pieces. A lot of value, who knows? But you could put that under, if you're going to list items like that, steampunk, it can fall under old sign, law enforcement, any of those things. So guys, let's get out there. Another good thing, if you're out in the alleys, you see a lot of old doors, right? Example. We need an example, right? I thought I seen one. Old doors. Bring a screwdriver. Have your toolbox ready. Now, you don't want to take the whole drawer, but you might want to take the hardware. Take the hinges if they're ornate, simply meaning if they're fancy and carved on. Old glass ones like this. This one's unshipped. Money. You just take those off, couple screws, boom, boom, boom. You don't haul the whole drawer. Smalls, man, smalls. And these do really good on eBay, dude. Someone's always got an old house that they need a piece for a bathroom or something. I've got buckets of these I gotta sell. Holy, just reminded me. Get out there, guys. Get picking, man. As usual, if you want me to touch on a topic, if you have your own topic that you think is a point, I will read your comment, and I will give you a shout out, and I will get it out there to the masses so they can hear it as well. We're helping each other. That's what this is all about. We have to help each other. If we stick together, there's nothing that should separate us, because, you know, of course this is a competition. We're all trying to find, but there is so much shit. Don't worry, no one man can take it all. There's always plenty more. And if you lose something by a minute, you're walking into a garage sale, you see a guy walking out, and you're like, oh, F. You were so close, man. That means you're doing the right thing. Next time, you're going to be there. Step up your game. Get hunting. Hey now, Metal Mike, always junking, always talking, can't shut up. Zip. Have a good day. Peace. Wendy Williams, gotta love